Warm welcome again to the big match. Today we can reflect on the struggle going on at both ends of the First Division. From the top we welcome the leaders Leeds to London for their match against Chelsea, and that'll be our main game today. We also have at the other end of the table Birmingham City against West Ham and Manchester United against Coventry. In the studio, Malcolm Allison to run his eye over the action we shall all be watching together this afternoon. And indeed there are some goals of real quality among the 12 new ones that we're going to bring you today. And of course another dip into the past with our big match gallery, something in particular for Charlton fans and for those of Manchester United. But we make a start today at Stamford Bridge, where all eyes were on the arrival of Leeds United, this amazing side that is comfortably leading the First Division and is now this one match away from setting a record with 20 games without defeat at the start of a season, beating the 19 achieved by Liverpool in 1949-50. So Leeds then are 90 minutes away from marking a place in the history books. But they know they face a tough one today against Chelsea and Peter Osgood. He's recovered from a heavy cold, takes his place in probably the strongest side that manager Dave Sexton's been able to field all season. Peter Bonetti's back after missing one game. The number 11, Peter Houseman, also returns. Chelsea then coming nicely into form. As for Leeds, their form is fine, but their injury list is long. Billy Bremner seems to go on, but today Alan Clark is missing, and indeed there are no fewer than 5 first-team men out of action. Joe Jordan comes in at 8, Terry Yorath continues at 10. The referee is Donald Biddle from Bristol, and as the two captains, Bremner and Johnny Hollins, toss for ends, we're just about ready for the start, and the crowd at Stamford Bridge this afternoon is 40,000, the biggest of the day.
So Leeds United in their all-yellow strip today, just 90 minutes away from this record of 20 games without defeat. Facing a Chelsea side that is in such good form at the moment with 10 points out of their last 12. Here's Baldwin and Osgood. And Garland is off in pursuit. And Kemba is right there with a great chance and really came within an instant of putting it into his own goal. A tremendous break out of defence by Chelsea in the first 30 seconds of the game. Kemba really only half hitting that shot, and there was an enormous gap in that Leeds defence, and Hunter is having a word with McQueen so that it shall not happen again. Well, we nearly had a most dramatic of openings there. Here's Harvey with the kick. Webb went into that challenge as though he really meant it. Bremner giving the ball to Osgood, played on again this time for Baldwin. But Trevor Cherry there. Madeley to Yorath, and now Madeley's beaten by Kemba. And now Osgood once again. Madeley is back. Bremner. Forward to Joe Jordan. And now Bremner again. Going on a long way. Touched on by Jordan, and Bremner had gone right on. Houseman, though, had gone right back with him. Well, there must have been an early scare there for manager Don Revie of Leeds United, who 24 hours ago was in bed with tonsillitis, but he's fit enough to be out here watching his team. Osgood again, picking up the loose one. Kemba played on, this time for Baldwin. Good play there by Chelsea, and a bouncing ball. Jordan in first, Hollins, Kemba, played for Osgood. McQueen sticking very close to Osgood now, coming very deep with him. Not a good pass though by Hudson. Houseman getting the situation back very nicely there for Chelsea, and now Hollins having made his pass linking on, so Chelsea with a lot of men forward. And right back there for Leeds though was Paul Reaney, and a corner for Chelsea. Hollins will take it. Osgood is there in that area. So Hollins then with the corner for Chelsea, a very deep one towards David Webb. And Webb might still get there first. Now that might be a bit difficult. Osgood is still right in there. And Kemba driving the ball. And a back heel there by Tommy Baldwin. Tremendous reaction though by Harvey. Tremendous piece of goalkeeping by the young Scot in the Leeds United goal. Bremner. Yorath. Bremner again. Nice back heel there to Hunter. And in comes Webb first time now for Chelsea. Kemba winning that challenge as well. Osgood Flicked on beautifully there for Kemba. Riding the challenge of Hunter, and the referee stopped it when Chelsea were in possession. A pity that for Chelsea, they were moving so well. Hudson now with a quickly taken kick. Baldwin with a shot. Oh, and he's hit the post. Well, Tommy Baldwin's had no luck at all. A back heel on the line that somehow Harvey got down to, and a smashing shot from a sharp angle there that hit the post. Bremner to Peter Lorimer. Harris away, but only to McQueen. Nudge forward there nicely to Madeley. Now it's Cherry. Madeley. Lorimer, a deft back heel there, and Hollins getting it away, and they waited, and Madeley went through, and Chelsea now giving it to Lorimer, and that shot was blocked by Webb, and it was destined for the far corner. And still with Peter Lorimer for Leeds United, and then the catch by Bonetti. Well, that was a Lorimer special that hit Webb when it looked as though it was sure to go in. Now it's Hudson. Baldwin just toe poking it into the path of Hudson again. Chelsea have got a lot of men forward now. Baldwin is one of them. Garland is there with a chance. Oh, and what a miss kick. Well, poor Chris Garland will be so unhappy about that. Chelsea had sprung so many men forward as well that the odds were always on it coming to somebody, and it came to Garland, who was unmarked. Swung at it and completely missed it. Lorimer to Bremner. Bremner, Madeley and Cherry hit first time for McQueen. Cherry again. Bremner playing simple balls again to their heart's content, and not really being challenged very seriously at the moment by Chelsea. Yorath, Madeley, Jordan, still Jordan, now played. Is this it? Oh, a tremendous header away there by Hollins from Lorimer. Still now, right in there. Lorimer might get another chance now. Chelsea under enormous pressure at the moment as Reaney plants it back across the goal, and that might be a little too hard. No, it's with Yorath, and now Locke can bring it away, and again it's a pity advantage wasn't played, although Lorimer might well need the game to be stopped in any case. Tremendous header off the line though by Johnny Hollins, the Chelsea skipper, from Lorimer. Lorimer obviously got a smack in the nose, and in fact it looks as though his nose is swelling moment by moment. A fair bit of blood about the place as well. So Lorimer's all right again, and the game underway again. McQueen winning the ball in the air there. And now here's Lorimer again. Jones and Jordan are both up there still with Peter Lorimer. And there was a funny old deflection there that went behind for another corner for Leeds United, and it came off Steve Kemba. Billy Bremner with the corner for Leeds United, right on half-time now. Bonetti beaten in the air, Jordan turning it in! Joe Jordan! Well, that was an incredible goal. Peter Bonetti stretched for that corner from Billy Bremner. Didn't quite get to it, and it fell to Joe Jordan, and somehow he threaded it through, 4 or 5 Chelsea defenders, and in to put Leeds 1-0 ahead. And that's the last minute of the first half. Joe Jordan. And so the Leeds United record is just that little bit closer now. And Leeds, with a tremendous defensive record, are going to be very, very difficult to pierce now. Indeed, they'd conceded only 3 goals in 10 games before their visit to Setúbal last Wednesday. And that's the measure of the task now facing Chelsea. Bremner cutting that one out. Played forward to Mick Jones. Lorimer is also up with him. But the whistle has gone for half-time. And Leeds, who had a little bit of luck early on in the game, closed their ranks as efficiently as ever, and then right on half-time have scored the goal that puts them in the lead and makes Don Revie, still suffering a little bit from tonsillitis, very happy indeed as they go away to the dressing room. Still a lot to come on the big match this afternoon. But the half-time score here as Leeds United come off the field, this priceless goal into the lead. The half-time score is Chelsea 0, Leeds United 1, and we'll return in just a couple of minutes. So welcome back then as we start the second half with Chelsea this 1 goal down, now attacking the goal to our right. Leeds United just 45 minutes away from this truly remarkable record now of 20 games in the first division without defeat at the start of the season. Can they hang on for this next 45 minutes? Towards Osgood, Hunter coming in behind him, Baldwin going in with McQueen coming in behind him, and now Garland, has he got the pace? Oh, and that was a marvellous piece of defence again by Paul Madeley, the number 11. It looked as though Garland must get his shot in, but Madeley came from nowhere. And instead of a goal against Leeds United, Madeley has merely conceded a corner, which Peter Houseman will take. And Chelsea have got a lot of men forward. Baldwin has made a dart towards the near post. It's too far for all of them, though. Harris versus Lorimer, goal kick. Mick Jones. Madeley to Lorimer. Jordan and Bremner. But there's Kemba. And still Bremner holds him off, and he jumped. Harris was after him, and Bremner jumped a good couple of feet in the air there, as you saw. Osgood. Oh, and this will come now for Jones. Hunter and Osgood squaring up there as the ball goes away, and there's a bit of pushing going on. The earth. And the crowd not happy with that. Osgood, who's had Hunter at his heels most of the day, and that was a snapping point. Jordan is there, too high for Hollins, and Webb just got it away. Kemba now, Hollins and Harris. Osgood letting that go for Tommy Baldwin. This time played for Locke. And he's got Carthyorth. He had a little bit of luck there, Locke, and he took it in nicely in his stride. And he's got past Cherry too, and his cross has won a corner. That was a brilliant touchline run there by Gary Locke. Past two of the best defenders in the business, Yorith and Cherry, two really sturdy defenders. David Webb coming up for this one, making his run as Houseman takes the corner. Osgood on the far side! Peter Osgood! And Hunter and Osgood are having words. The feud is going on, but the battle is level now as Houseman takes the corner and Osgood goes roaring in to make it 1-1. So Peter Osgood, the man who was doubtful even until yesterday with a heavy cold, comes in and makes it 1-1. His 8th goal of the season. And that really has set Stamford Bridge alight. Hunter getting some boos from the crowd. Baldwin touching it off now for Hudson. And now for Garland, and Osgood, his arm raised in the middle there, wanting some more of it. But Yorath to Hunter, with the boos following him. Bremner. And Bremner again. This time for Hunter. A clip this time towards Yorath. And now it's Cherry. Jordan. Well, he's got round Hollins, but Gary Locke is right back there too. Bonetti is out. This could be Lorimer's chance, and he's missed it. Well, that was another remarkable sequence. How Jordan squirmed his way past those Chelsea defenders, and Bonetti, when he came tearing out, couldn't make a contact, and Lorimer then made the wrong sort of contact. Maidley's header. And now it's Kemba to Osgood. Lovely ball there by Osgood, but I think Garland will have to stretch to get it. Throw to Leeds. Bremner with Leeds throw. Cherry. Well, that's not a very good ball by Cherry. Straight to Peter Houseman. And that wasn't all that good either. Here's Hunter for Leeds. Yorath and Kemba. Beaten by Jones, who really has never stopped running. And now Madeley to Lorimer. Reaney willing as ever on the far side. Jordan tried to touch it off for Lorimer. Now this might be a chance for Chelsea to make a quick counter thrust. Osgood. Tackle from behind, unfair by Cherry on that occasion. Locke. Curling high towards Baldwin, but Hunter winning it well in the air. Bremner, Hunter, and Leeds United's throw. Halfway through the second half now. Cherry. Too high for Webb, but here's Jordan for Yorath. Madeley and Lorimer. Madeley again to Bremner. Webb getting it away. Now Lorimer. Will this be the long raking kick? It's not, but there's Jordan on the far side. And Jones! Oh, and a beautiful goal! A beautiful goal by Mick Jones. As the ball came over, you felt that Jordan might have tried to header himself, but he nodded it back so accurately, and Jones took it so well. So Leeds United once again have absorbed the pressure after conceding a goal, because they've lived with pressure for so long, and they've come back and looked the better side ever since that Chelsea equaliser went in, and Mick Jones now has put them ahead again. 20 minutes left, and Chelsea this 2-1 down now. Yorath for Leeds. Jordan, man who scored one goal and made the other for Leeds. Another another example of the tremendous reserves there are at Ellen Road. I think that they've got 4 or 5 first-team players, including men like Johnny Giles and Alan Clark out of their side, and yet still they go on producing the goods. And here's Jones. If anybody deserved that second goal on the field this afternoon, it was Mick Jones for all that selfless running. Lorimer to Madeley. And now for Hunter. And Leeds are coming forward looking for more. Cherry. To Yorath. And now Jones. Well, maybe Mick Jones might be in a position to line one up for Peter Lorimer. Lorimer now looking back towards Jones, and he thought somebody was behind him. Garland. It's Cherry, though. Crossed in again, and Hollins had to get in there quickly before Jordan. Free kick to Chelsea because Jordan's feet were too high. Well, Chelsea came from 2-0 down last week against Leicester to win. Can they do it again? Score 2-1 to Leeds United at the moment, with 17 minutes to go. Free kick to Chelsea. I'm sure if the players are feeling any pressure, Don Revie feels a little bit. Looks as though he's taking a pill again for his tonsillitis. Bad throat. Oh, Hollins nearly slipped there, and Jordan was almost through. And the free kick's been given to Leeds. Hollins a little surprised, a little disappointed, but the referee was right there. Felt that Jordan was unfairly pulled down. Now this might be the moment for Lorimer to show his shooting power. Although it looks as though it's Bremner who's lined up for it. 4 men in that Chelsea wall. And Hunter coming across to add something to the tactics there. Well, they're taking a long time to take the kick, and it's Lorimer. Is this the blockbuster? No, it's the one that dipped beautifully. Oh, and he hit it against the crossbar. Well, that really was the other side of Peter Lorimer. I think the wall must have shuddered, and in the end it was the crossbar that shuddered. Bremner. And Harris away. Baldwin, a nice back header there for Houseman. Played this time for Baldwin again. Now Hudson. Osgood. A little too slow, challenged unfairly from behind by Yorath. Free kick to Chelsea. David Webb will take it. Hit high towards Tommy Baldwin. McQueen got up well. Lorimer now for Leeds. Looking very comfortable indeed at the moment, Leeds United. Bonetti out. Hollins to Hudson. In the last quarter of an hour of the game now. Osgood. Taken pretty firmly from behind, but the referee felt there was no foul by McQueen. And Bremner pumping a nice ball here for Lorimer. Lorimer past Webb. He's got Jordan and Jones in the middle. And deep is Yorath. And Locke just getting ahead to it to turn it over both of them. Hunter. Bremner. Madeley. Played for Hunter. And this time Jordan. Still with Jordan. And a save by Bonetti giving Leeds the corner. In fact, Jordan was tripped there just as he shot, and the referee felt that I suppose that he got the shot in powerfully enough. So it's a corner. Queen right in there again on that goal line, just as Jack Charlton used to do. And of course, McQueen has taken over that famous Leeds number 5 shirt from Big Jack. Harris at the near post, Osgood right back. Lorimer once more with the corner. And here it comes. Bonetti again under a lot of pressure. Jordan turning it back, but wide. Had a fine game, Joe Jordan. Coming in for Alan Clark. Very difficult to shake off a ball. Hollins for Chelsea. Played this time for Garland. Osgood is right up there too. And the ball goes off Madeley. And now there's Reaney killing it beautifully. Lorimer. We're now in injury time. Leeds, who've won at Arsenal, they've won at Tottenham this season. Looks very much as though they're going to win at Chelsea. As Madeley takes it up again, and there's Mick Jones. Could this be number 3? It's not. A bad miss. And he hasn't done too much that's been wrong this afternoon, Mick Jones. But certainly looks as though it's going to be 3 wins out of 3 for Leeds in London, and that's why, proving to Londoners at any rate, why they are top of the table. And certainly their performance this afternoon has been full of the right sort of skills, a lot of composure too. Referee looking at his watch. McQueen getting it to Yorath. And Chelsea, who've had such a good record against Leeds United away from Ellen Road, it looks as though that's ended as well. But here's Harris with a last gasp chance to try and get a point. And it'll be a goal kick. Or is it a corner? No, it's a corner. So this really would be the last chance for Chelsea to save a point. Houseman with the corner, and everybody virtually up now for Chelsea. Here's the corner coming over. Osgood was hopeful of getting there. Lock. Loosely hit shot that's so wide. Chelsea, who fielded their strongest side for some time, really felt that they were going to win this one. They've been so very well held by Leeds United. A marvellous team performance by Don Revie's men. Harris. And they think it's the final whistle, but it's not. David Webb has been called back to the referee. Must have been something that Webb said. Now what can that be all about? Confrontation there between Donald Biddle, the referee from Bristol, and David Webb for something that he must have said way away from the ball. So it'll be a free kick to Leeds. Norman Hunter's going to take it, and Leeds are practically home and dry now. Again, Jones jumping well, but beaten by Webb. Madeley turning it back once more, and Hollins in there too. Hudson back to his own goalkeeper. Oh, and almost giving Jordan the chance. Now Kemba for Chelsea. Played on for Osgood. Now can Osgood yet save it? Here's Houseman coming in. Chipped in there towards Garland. And Bremner right back to help out. And Harvey calling for it. And only just getting it. 2 minutes now of injury time. And the final whistle goes. Leeds United, skippered by Billy Bremner, have done it. The record is theirs. And Don Revie belting away now to get to the warmth of the dressing room. The man who's had this bout of tonsillitis, the man who's guided Leeds, takes a handshake. And the crowd rising to this amazing Leeds United side. A truly remarkable record. As they come off the field now, Chelsea, I suppose, the first to admit that they were on the afternoon beaten by a better side. Leeds showing, as I say, all the composure in the world. A tremendous team performance, built on the solid foundation of an almost unshakable defence. And skipper Billy Bremner takes his Leeds United players off with a record safely now in their grasp. The final scoreline then at Stamford Bridge is Chelsea 1, Leeds United 2.
So the record then is safely with Leeds United. It's going to take an awful lot of beating. I should say here that it was Brian Clough's turn to be with us today, but alas, he's got a touch of flu, so I'm delighted to welcome Big Mal back to the studio again. Television commentators, journalists, fans indeed, have been raving about Leeds since yesterday afternoon. What is it when a pro looks at Leeds United what is it that impresses him most?
Well, I think that the ability of their forwards to recognise how to defend and do really defensive things in defensive situations, and the ability of their defenders that when attacking, they attack and think like forwards. Also, their tremendous composure and their ability to create space and you know, there's all these terms that talked about football, but this team, you know, they really create things, and they really create tons of space and plenty of time to play, you know, by their accuracy and by their simplicity of their play.
They use the whole width of the pitch as well.
Yeah, they use the width, you know, they can play in tight situations, and they draw players into tight situations, and they play out of them, and there's plenty of places to play. You know, they get them in there, and they get 3 or 4 of them in there, they play it back there and play it across the other side of the park. And they use the width of the pitch wonderfully. I mean, you'll see Cherry coming on this side, and you'll see Reaney coming on this side, when they've got time. And there's always 2 alternatives. They can always play inside or out.
You mentioned their composure, and their composure in defence yesterday was quite magnificent. And we've got an excellent illustration of this.
Yeah, you'll see, in this clip of film here, you'll see Garland play a ball through. It's a Chelsea attack, but the composure with which Madeley comes around, takes the ball out, and they play this ball out of defence with so much composure. Nice little chip there into Bremner. Bremner's got his back to the game, so he brings the ball back. And you'll see Madeley again showing himself, you know, wanting to take this ball off Bremner. He takes it off Bremner again, plays it inside. There's 3 players there. There's Hunter, plays another little ball to him, and Madeley brings it back again. And you see 2 players pointing. You see Hunter and Cherry telling him where to play, and he plays a little ball into Yorath. And now you've got four Chelsea players in that corner of the park. Now that creates a tremendous amount of space on the other side of the park. And this is where Cherry will go there, and if they want to play to Cherry, he's got 30, 40 yards to play in. And so this is the great thing about their play, their ability to play it tight, nice control, nice neat little passes, and all of a sudden change the play, and the Chelsea players, you know, 4 or 5 of them out of the game.
Let's pick up Leeds United now when they go onto the attack, because they're equally impressive as their record shows.
This is a situation, Bremner taking the throw in, and Cherry picks the ball up, and he play a long ball into Jordan. Now Jordan will control this ball here, and he'll just knock it into Yorath. Now, 9 out of 10 players would have played this ball forward, but he checks it, and he plays it deep onto the halfway line. Now, there's space there for this player to play. There's Reaney, and there's Lorimer, and there's Madeley again, you know, making himself available. But the time and space is tremendous. And this is where Chelsea don't really close up quite enough. Now, they knock the ball out again, and here's Lorimer again. And he picks his spot, and there's Jordan getting up very, very well and knocking an excellent ball down for Jones, and Jones volleys a tremendous goal. But the time, you know, and their availability, the players' availability is tremendous there.
Why is it they've been able to achieve it and other clubs with good resources also have not been able to achieve it?
I think that Leeds have probably played more continental sides than any other team in a long period of time, in 10 years. And I think they've copied some of their possession ideas. And also they're so accurate and they're so simple and they're so professional. They're great professionals like Bremner and Hunter. I mean, they're really great professionals. And they get onto each other. You know, there's more or less 11 coaches out there getting onto each other, saying, you do this, you do that.
Yeah. Marvellous. Well, it was also, quite apart from being an exercise in seeing just how good Leeds United are, it was a fiercely competitive match, and nothing was more competitive than the battle between Norman Hunter and Peter Osgood. We pick up this situation early in the second half, in fact. And you'll see Hunter go in, kicking there, and Osgood kicking back. They really did go hammer and tongs at each other right through that 90 minutes. But Osgood said to me afterwards, I had to show him that by scoring a goal, I could get my own back. And that with that beautiful header, he did it. But even then, you'll see, the war of words went on. I can't imagine the niceties that are going on there. Maybe you can. But 2 England teammates, and I'm sure off the field, the best of pals. How would you rate Leeds United, Malcolm? Are they the greatest club side, you think, of all time in Britain, as I've seen quoted? I
would think so, yes. I think that they play the best football I've seen from any English side ever, and probably comparable to some of the great teams that I've seen in, you know, like Hungary.
Better, say, than Spurs of the 1960s?
Yeah, I think they're a better side. Yeah, much more capable side.
Yeah. Well, there we are. Our tribute to Leeds United. Our thanks again to Mal. Our next action today, though, and it comes from the other end of the table, Birmingham and West Ham. They filled 2 of the 3 bottom places yesterday afternoon, and they met in what I suppose was virtually a 4-pointer at St Andrews, Birmingham. Tough for West Ham that they had to go there without 2 leading players, Trevor Brooking and Brian Robson. The pictures, though, come from ATV. The commentator is Hugh Johns. Birmingham here have the broad white stripe down their shirts.
Burns for Pendry. Moore getting it
behind, wondering if Gould is going to challenge. Patton aiming for best. Hind got the touch. Francis knocks it out. Hatton for Burns. Losing it to Bonds. Looking for best, that's a useful ball. And Gould, a great one! Beautiful goal by Bobby Gould, his first one for West Ham, and he's a happy fellow. Stunning the St Andrews crowd to silence. So the 4th minute of the game, Bobby Gould puts West Ham 1 up. That ball beautifully curled in. Best challenging for it. It drops away to Gould, and that was a gloriously struck goal. Latchford, no chance. Or guiding it as far as Hatton. Francis, well positioned on this right side. That's not a bad cross, and a fine goal from Ken Burns. Kenny Burns makes up for the earlier miss, equalising here with about 30 seconds to go to half-time. But the credit for that goal has got to go to Trevor Francis, the golden boy, going down that rat touchline, fending off Coleman, screwing a beautiful ball to the near post, and it was Ken Burns who gets on the end of it. Day is under it. It's come for Latchford to score, and he didn't! Taylor off the line! Well, my goodness me, Bob Latchford, the chance to plant it anywhere he liked then. Breaks for Hendry. Latchford. And Burns! And he scored the second goal, Kenny Burns! 18 minutes into the second half, and Ken Burns scores the second goal for Birmingham. It's 2-1 now, so they've come from behind. Again, that West Ham defence at fault, not picking men up, not biting hard enough in the tackle. The ball cuts across to Ken Burns, but his final shot was a real cracker. Best down. Gould, stopped by Roberts. It's certainly freezing cold out on the terraces this afternoon. Bonds for West Ham. No more. Chipped in for Patton. Well read by Pendry. Long out for Latchford. Taylor is there. McDowell is covering the box. Shot is on for Hendry. What a save! And Hatton will make it. He does. Hatton the scorer. For the 3rd time in the game. 32nd minute of the second half. The long ball out then. Latchford rolling into Hendry. His shot well saved by Day, but he couldn't hold the ball. Hatton ghosts in and knocks it in, and Burns was there to make sure.
So with that defeat, West Ham now sink to the bottom of the First Division, and after that we again come to your letters on the programme today in the form of our Big Match Gallery. And these are our prize exhibits this week. There were 40,000 people at Chelsea yesterday. Here's a match, a programme sent to me by Mr. J.E. Swan of London SW1, when there were double that number and more. Over 80,000 for that match in 1945 between Chelsea and Moscow Dynamos. The teams, well, a lot of famous old names there, but what about Company Sergeant Major Instructor Lawton T at number 9 for Chelsea? Tiger Komich, of course, the very famous Russian goalkeeper there, was in goal for the Moscow Dynamos. I met him in Moscow last summer. He's now a well-established press photographer, now taking pictures of people scoring goals instead of saving them himself. Sam Bartram, all the Charlton fans remember him, of course, from 1930s, 40s and 50s as a great goalkeeper. I wonder if they know also that he played in a Wembley Cup final for Millwall. The wartime cup final of 1945, and there's Sam in goal for the Lions against Chelsea. But of course that came from Mrs. Ethel Ackland of Welling, and a year later Sam was back for Charlton at Wembley, the 1946 Cup final. There's Sam again, a match that Charlton lost 4-1 to Derby County. Some great names there. Sailor Brown, Charlton fans remember him. Don Welsh, the skipper, of course. Chris Duffy, who scored the winning goal for Charlton in the Cup final the next year against Burnley. Horatio Carter for Derby County. Peter Doherty for Derby County as well. Some marvellous names there, and our thanks to Mrs. Ackland. But what about Sam? Here's a picture sent by Mr. R.A. Burrows of Rayleigh. That was Sam Bartram just before the war. What about those big old boots? Fancy playing in those these days, and look at those shin pads. Nice line in shorts you got there, Sam. And look at that big old jerseys that goalkeepers always wore. But that is Sam Bartram 1939 style. Look at Sam today. He doesn't really seem to have changed all that much. He's now a journalist, a football journalist with the Sunday People, and still I'm glad to say hale and hearty. We come now to perhaps the saddest moment in British football history of all time, the Munich air crash where so many Manchester United players perished. This was the week before it when they came to Arsenal and won 5-4 Manchester United, probably the best match they've seen at Highbury for many, many, many years. Then came the crash, these papers coming from John Wright of London E9, and a week later, the Star newspaper, now defunct, of course, as a London evening newspaper, football fans pay homage, Busby a little better. And I'm glad to say, of course, he's much, much better now. But 10 days after that, they played their first match, Manchester United, and this was the programme. Black-edged, United will go on. It was a league match in the First Division against Sheffield Wednesday. They paid tribute to officials who died at Munich. They paid tribute to the players who perished there as well. They shall not grow old. Roger Byrne, Eddie Coleman, Bill Whelan, Mark Jones, Jeff Bent, that fantastic forward Tommy Taylor, David Pegg as well. And they were so hard up for players that they couldn't print a team sheet. They had to announce them over the public address system. Players like Harry Gregg, the goalkeeper, and Bill Fuchs, who'd been involved in the Munich air crash. Well, that was one of the most emotional nights of all time at Old Trafford against Sheffield Wednesday. We can show you now the film of the goals in that game. As I say, one of the most emotional nights back in February 1958.
Wins the toss for Manchester United against Sheffield Wednesday. And it's the most dramatic game Busby's Babes have ever played. Wednesday and the striped shirts kick off. Less than a fortnight after the Munich air crash, the Babes are fielding a scratch side for a fifth-round FA Cup tie. And apart from Fuchs himself, the only member of the original team is goalie Harry Gregg. But from the start, they look more like champions than a forlorn hope. Within a few minutes, they're giving Sheffield goalie Brian Riles some work to do. And the 60,000 crowd at Old Trafford, who came prepared to make all the allowances in the world, can hardly believe their eyes. Now the United forwards are on the attack, and that was nearly it. Brennan takes the corner, and it's in. Second half, and Manchester United are still incredibly one goal up and fighting every minute of the way. Very soon there's another Manchester corner. But Wednesday hold firm, and now at last they stage a determined offensive on the Manchester goal. For a few minutes, especially when Sheffield take a corner, things look tricky for the Babes. But their defence proves as sound as their attack, and before the crowd can get its breath back, the attack is on again. Mark Pearson's shot rebounds, but Seamus Brennan's there to land a beauty. 20-year-old Brennan was only included a few hours before the match, his first big game ever, and he scored 2 goals. 17-year-old Mark Pearson has the ball. Alec Dawson's ready to receive, and there's number 3. Old Trafford's seen so many great days, but for brilliant triumph over disaster, surely none will ever be as great as this.
And Shea Brennan, of course, who went on to have many, many good seasons at Manchester United. Do you like that? Came from Maurice Keston, who's one of the best Spurs supporters I know, London W1, but that in fact is from a Fulham programme of 1911, the Fulham Groundsman. You can tell it's Fulham really because the one in front's got a chin like Jimmy Hill. But talking about Fulham, this is 10 years ago this Christmas on Boxing Day. Look at Fulham there in the First Division. Fulham 10, Ipswich won, Graham Leggett having got 4 of those goals. But look at the goals that were scored that day. Chelsea got 5 at Blackpool, where Peter Houseman scored 1, incidentally. Burnley got 6 against Manchester United, Fulham's 10. You've got Liverpool with 6 there against Stoke, Roger Hunt getting 4. Nottingham Forest 3, Sheffield United 3. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Bolton 0. What about Spurs? A 4-4 draw at West Brom where Jimmy Greaves got a couple. West Ham lost at home to Blackburn 8-2. I saw that game, and that in fact put Blackburn at the top of the First Division on that particular day. And then Wolves 3, Aston Villa 3. 66 goals scored in the First Division on that particular Boxing Day 10 years ago. Yesterday, there were 32 scored in our First Division. That was a bit better than average. There we are. That's our look at the big match gallery for this week. I tell you, we've had so many marvellous things being sent in. I must ask you, please, not to send any more for the moment until we ask again. We've got enough to keep us going for months and months and months. Let's have some more action now. And for this, we go up to Old Trafford again for Manchester United against Coventry City, where the pictures come from Granada Television, where the commentators Gerald Sinstadt and Manchester United are in the dark shirts with the white shorts.
Here's Morgan coming in. Drilled again for the post, but it was a foot the wrong side of it. Two good attacks there at each end. Hutchison. Maguire for Cartwright. Acceleration made something of it, and Steen's header! Now, was that in? Looked to me as though Stepney pulled it back from over the line, and the referee has given it.
In fairness, we had to look at this half a dozen times to realise it was an own goal by Martin Buchan and not a goal by Colin Steen. Watch the red number 2 there. The ball goes off his head, Martin Buchan, and beyond Alex Stepney into the back of the net. Own goal, Martin Buchan.
Morgan. Greenoff. West. Nice dummy and shot, yes! George Best joins Manchester United's leading scorers with his second goal of the season. Set up by that shot from Greenoff cannoning back. There was the dummy, then it goes skidding through, bounced in front of Glazier and over the goalkeeper's hands. Buchan's long ball. Parker. Alderson on a run. Still Alderson. Yes! 2-1. The tackle didn't bite, and Alderson was allowed to go on to put Coventry back in the lead. Cartwright to cross. Driven right for Alderson. Cross wanting it on the ground, and he's run into position well. Oh dear, not what Alderson was expecting at all. Cartwright. Greenoff. Morgan. Best. Greenoff. Akari. And that's a very good goal indeed by Morgan. Macari's cross and Willie Morgan's header was a peach. The wall being pushed back another yard. Cooped. Griffith's header for a throw-in. Steen looking it on for Cross. 3-2. Two men went up with Cross, but the tall Coventry man got his 4th goal in his 4th game since his move from Norwich.
And Manchester United now in 19th position and getting into real trouble. That's it. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. I'm sure you'll agree that our last action today must be of the new record breakers Leeds United. Their skill at all times, their composure too when they came under fire. It made them look like champions. And in the course of a World of Sport interview yesterday, I asked David Harvey and Paul Reaney if it were possible for a side to go right through a season unbeaten. First, the bespectacled goalkeeper, David Harvey.
Well, I think if there's anybody capable of doing it, it'll probably be us. Paul?
Yes, I think so. I think it's possible. More so with us because we don't go out and say that we're going to do it. You know, we just go out and say, well, let's get this one over. I don't think we've got to draw now. You know, we just go out to win. And of course, if you go out like that, who knows what you can do.
Well, that confidence was never better shown than with their winning goal here from an exciting ground-level angle.
Madeley again to Bremner. Webb getting it away. Now Lorimer. Will this be the long raking kick? It's not, but there's Jordan on the far side. And Jones! Oh, and a beautiful goal! A beautiful goal by Mick Jones.